When you talk about $12,000 in funding, I don't think you should include capers, retirement, bricks and mortar, what it costs to build buildings. I think what you consider as costs of educating children are what's in the classroom. And we've gone through 7 rounds of detrimental cuts since 2008. We've cut $18,000 per classroom. And with the governor's tax shift plan in place, the only place that the majority of the money can come from to make the necessary cuts that are in that plan, 66% of it will come from education. And what that means is that you and I will pay higher property taxes in what we can afford in our school districts. So we're going to have school districts that haves and have-nots. We're going to have school districts that can raise their taxes and raise money, and then we have school districts who can't. I believe that education funding, the formula is correct. We need to fund it, and we should take the excess money in our state balances and pay back money to the education field that we have taken over the last few years. And a concern we have after the primary elections is that in the Senate, the way the votes were cast, there could be enough votes to change the Constitution, which would change the definition of suitability for what constitutes an education. And if that definition changes, then so will the school finance formula, and we'll end up back in court, and it'll be a whole different argument than what we're currently discussing in the Supreme Court right now.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. The rebuttal is very simply this. We are projecting cuts in education based upon that 2/3 of the state general fund is education. We're going to have a reduction projected in revenue due to the tax cuts. Therefore, we're going to take 2/3 of whatever the tax cut deficit projected is going to be, and we're going to assign that to education, and we're going to raise the fears of everybody for that. I think that I'd like to point out in rebuttal that that's all projection, conjecture, assumption, and fear-mongering. And I don't like it. It's not based on fact. It is based on politics.
What is your opinion on funding public education?
Right.
What is your position on support for private education, charter schools, or vouchers?
I think in 1971 until now, the student population K-12 in Kansas has increased by 1%. The number of teachers in Kansas has increased by over 50%. And the number of administrators in Kansas has increased by over 90%. We are spending a lot of money on education. Everybody has said that. Despite drastic cuts, a series of drastic cuts, we're still spending a lot of money. Despite trying to take out brick and mortar and capers and the other costs of doing business that any business has to take care of, we're still spending a lot of money on education. We've got 3,750 approximately seats filled in the Leavenworth school system. We're spending about $69 million in the Leavenworth school system. That comes out close to $17,000 per student. I can show you the graph that shows the student population going down, the spending going up, and it's a big delta, and it's getting better. The same thing is happening across the state. We are, in fact, spending more all the time. Money is not the problem. Money is not the answer. Our students deserve a good education. Test scores are not going up. The students are not getting the education they need. We need to do better, and we need to do better without looking at the checkbook as being the answer. We need to let the teachers teach better. We need to let the building administrators administer their buildings better, and we need to stop the top-down bureaucratic computer-driven cookie cutter that is driving our education system now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. All right.